Hey, so I want to talk about time. Everybody is saying the same thing. How it feels like time is just passing us by, time is speeding up, time is moving so fast. Everybody is just experiencing the same speed of time. We all agree that time is moving super fast. Like, it feels like time is slipping through our fingers. And I want to say that it's because time isn't really real. Deep down, our bodies know what normal really feels like. And time in the way that we perceive it is made up. Clocks are made up. Months and years are made up. For our body, for our natural state, time doesn't move in the way that we measure clocks. Society is artificially built, and it removed the way that we naturally are supposed to and used to experience time. Our body is still used to the way we evolved as humans, while our mind is trying to function in this here society. And that's why I think that a lot of stuff be feeling off, and I think that that taps into depression too. But anyway, we used to live aligned with the seasons, like in the winter we used to rest. Winter was slower. We didn't really have to like do too much. We didn't have to work too much because it was cold. It was really cold. The crops wasn't like growing for food like that. Um it wasn't really much to do and stuff. So we used to like use like winter for like relaxation and hibernation, while spring and summer were more fruitful for fruits and veggies to grow. And summer and spring was more active, it was more alive, we could work more, gather more, prepare more, do more because it was warm outside. So those seasonal cycles for our body was like, it had stuff to like look forward to, and our body learned that some months are for rest and some months are for work and effort. And we used to live aligned with the sunset and the sunrise. Light came from the sun, and when the sun went down, darkness meant relaxation. And darkness meant sleep and rest. That's how we used to measure time. We used to measure time by the sunrise, and when the sun went down, the day was over. That's how our body and our mind used to register time. We used to do real physical labor back then, like thousands of years ago. We used to do real physical labor. We used to walk miles and miles. We used to carry things, on our back. We used to build things, pick food from nature and farms, and living like that grounded our body. That constant physical activity released stress hormones and made us really tired, and we used to honor that exhaustion with mandatory rest. Sleep was not optional or avoidable. At night, we went to sleep, period, point blank. During bad weather, we didn't work. And during the cold months, we didn't work as much. And I know clearly, times have changed. We now live in society, but even if, you never got to live like that, experience life like that, we still carry that DNA. That's literally how like we exist today. We still carry those conditions in our DNA. We are living in a different environment for how we were made. So, now time feels like it's moving faster because we live the same day over and over and over again. We do the same thing over and over and over again. We don't live by the seasons. We don't live by the sunset. We don't live with we don't live in tune with our natural instincts. Our natural instincts are getting compressed. Time to us is measured by events. That's why trauma and other events can feel timeless, you know, while like every other day is just a blur. Like our natural origin doesn't live by the clock. It lives like in states of mind. That's why childhood was, it was more fun. Like, times were more fun when we was kids because we didn't really have a routine. Everything for the most part was like new and exciting and unpredictable. Everything we did had a lot of like emotion in it. Now, everything is continuous. The days are predictable. We have phones and all of this technology. There's no more real completion to the day anymore because now we have like, overnight jobs, all of this technology. We can watch TV all night. We be on our phones all night. Our homes have lights in them and stuff like that. We can keep the lights on all night. It's city lights, there's no real darkness, in our cities anymore. There's no real quietness. We don't really rest. We don't get a break. We're all living in survival mode with no breaks and stuff. So time feels like a big blur. That's why it seemed like it's moving faster.